There's no doubt about it. But, there is, as always, every bookies now will give you so many crazy bets to be done. I think there was one on, like, Conor McGregor winning in 60 seconds. Of course, Conor's prediction, Matt, is in 4 rounds. He thinks he's going to knock Floyd out in 4 rounds. And, of course, that can be a bet that you can get as well. I think that's like 6-1 TKO or knockout. For him to do that, which is probably quite a decent odd, because let's face it, whatever Conor said in the past has normally happened. I mean, he's got 95% on whatever he says. So, if you're led to believe that, then that's probably a fair price. Have you got any kind of? Do you think there's anything that's going to happen? Is there anything you foresee happening in this fight, Matt, that we're going to see on Saturday? You're predicting.
It does kind of make me wonder, like, this is where mind games do really come into this, because although he, like you said, he does go out there and do what he says he's going to do, but going on that basis, does he go out there and not give it his all in the first 4 rounds, lull Mayweather into the false sense that, this guy doesn't really know what he is, and then in the 6th round, totally open up into him and just surprise him, There's just so many possibilities about the way this could pan out, and that's, I suppose, where, like, the genius side of boxing comes into this. You've got to go in there with so many game plans and be able to switch on the fly, round to round. Yeah. So I'd be saying I can't really predict anything, because I just, it's just so open. Yeah.
Well, obviously, I'm gonna, just from I'm a big Conor fan. That no doubt about it. I'm more of a Conor fan than I'm going to be of Mayweather. But Floyd has, I was rooting for Pacquiao when he fought Pacquiao, and still Floyd proved me wrong yet again that this guy, is as good as he says he is. And he's cocky, he's brash, and he's got the money, but he backs that up. And normally every great fighter has that ego. So it's very tough. For me though, I think if I would like Conor to win. There's no doubt about that. Do I think he can win? Yes, but I think he's got. I don't think he can afford to outbox Floyd. That's not going to happen for sure. But if he rattles him, there's one thing that Conor McGregor's been known to have, and that's quite a hard hitting punch. And Floyd is not a notorious knockout artist. He catches guys like on a kind of counter attack shot when they're coming in. He gets a lot of those little clips, but he's not a pronounced knockout artist. So he's not going to be, just trying to land a big heavy punch. Although he keeps coming out and saying he is going to do that because he wants to give the fans entertainment. I don't really suspect he's really going to want to change his game plan at this time. At this stage of his career, I really doubt he's going to want to do that all of a sudden, to be quite honest with you. I think he could frustrate Conor if he wants to, and that is where Conor may run out of gas and Floyd will just play it down to points. But I think Floyd knows the entire boxing world is on his back. And I think he feels maybe if it goes to points, he's kind of lost as well, if that makes any sense. Like, an MMA guy still managed to go the distance, so he didn't outbox him, but then did anybody expect him to, that kind of thing. So I think Floyd feels that he's got to try to, wear him down and maybe, 9th, 10th round, try to get that little counter-attack punch and try to knock him down. But to be honest, I think if Conor gets those early shots in and rattles Floyd, there could be problems. Matt, one thing we haven't mentioned here that come out back in the last week is the gloves now, because they've been changed as well. They're now, they've gone down to 8. How big of a deal is that going to be? Because obviously, Conor's used to wearing the UFC gloves, which are nothing like boxing gloves, let's be fair. The fact that they've now reduced in size, is that going to be are you surprised that Floyd allowed that, and is that just another thing that he didn't want any excuses after the fight, do you think?
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, you could play that on the other side of the fence and say, he's allowed that because he's lining up a possible excuse as to why he might suffer a loss.
Yeah.
Because, it's always dangerous. If you're gonna play it more towards Conor's favour, you don't really want to be doing that. He's agreed to fight a boxing match, then he may as well fight Mayweather's kind of match. But agreeing to lower those gloves, all that's going to do is cause you a lot of problems. You've got less to hide behind, and you've got more to fear from the power of Conor's punches coming at you.
Yeah. I mean, because he's all about defensive, and he uses those gloves a lot to defend. So I think another big factor into this is going to be the refereeing of it. How is he going to referee if Conor keeps getting in close? You see it sometimes, Matt, in boxing. There's hardly any time where, you see stoppages happen out of absolutely nowhere, don't you, in boxing? Whereas UFC, it just seems to be going on and on and on, and it's like slow motion. You're like, Christ, when's this going to end? But whereas as boxing, Matt, it seems like, depending on who the referee is sometimes, can depend on how your game plan is for the fight, because some refs will let you get in close and kind of, but there's a lot of hugging involved, and they keep clinching all the time. That can be frustrating, because you can get that in boxing and the ref has to go in and break it. Do you think that could be a bit of an issue there for Conor in terms of going into the boxing world, something he's not used to, the way the referee works in boxing? Because in UFC, the referee is not doing a lot until he literally dives on the guy to get him off after he's been knocked out. I mean, that's literally all he's there for, isn't it, really?
Oh yeah, I'm sure that would be another game plan, that Mayweather will use to his advantage. He knows, that you can cause a hug and then cause a break and separate yourself, get yourself some distance, because you don't really want to be, letting Conor come in too close and get in like those uppercuts or whatever else he can get in there, because he knows what he's doing when it comes to close fighting as well. I mean, boxing, you got that, you work from the clinch a lot of the time, but from what Mayweather's used to, he loves to get in there and just throw those punches you don't see coming. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, anything can happen. I mean, Mayweather can avoid a lot of punches, but there's always that danger. You just won't see that one. I mean, it only takes one.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's happened before. Okay, well, just to end on that, Matt, I guess as summing this whole thing up, and how we think it's all going to go, and that. Do you suspect that after this is done, Matt, that there is any possibilities that they're going to want to cash in another cash cow on this and make a rematch somewhere down the line? I
do kind of get the feeling this is a one-off, but
right.
If McGregor wins, that's because the odds are in favour of Mayweather winning this.
Right,
but if McGregor was to win, I would be almost sure there'd be a rematch.
Yeah. Well, that would be very interesting. Of course, you can imagine that would make sense on everybody's part. I think it depends how good the fight is as well. I mean, we're expecting, the hype on this is incredible, but I don't know, Matt, if you ever got to see the Pacquiao-Floyd match, but that was a huge disappointment when it got there. It wasn't as spectacular as everybody wanted to see, probably because the fight should have happened 4 years prior, but they could just never get the deal done, which is kind of part of the big problem with boxing currently. It's like you've got so many different promoters. They're not under one roof like UFC, where they're all under contracts from one company. This is all over the place. But it's going to be interesting. Very few boxers have come out and said that Conor has a chance, but there are a few. I listened to Chris Eubank actually, and he was talking about the whole sort of the Irishman in McGregor being a real factor, that he felt that Mayweather had underestimated somewhat. How much this guy just enjoys fighting in general, let alone anything else. So it's interesting. There are a few guys around there. It's going to be a fascinating contest, Matt. I know you're going to be watching it. You're probably going to be, you might be with me. I'm not sure, but. Obviously, it's all going to be about the event. What do you think the vibe will be like where we are? I mean, like in general, have you got more people around you that are boxing fans or UFC? Like, what's the vibe been around just you in general when this fight topic comes up?
Well, everyone I speak to about it, they're all going to watch it. So that's how I know just like what pulling power this fight has, what buzz it's generating and just how much money it's making. Mm-hmm. The fact that every time I talk to someone, they all want to see it. And I probably will be with you on the night that we go see it, and I can bet you the people that are going to be around us are going to be pretty rowdy, despite the fact that here in the UK we have to wait up until the really early hours in the morning just to see
tell me about it.
People will just suddenly come alive.
Yeah. Well, I think it will be like zombies until that fight comes on. And then all of a sudden, we'll definitely be recharged for sure. Okay, well, listen, guys. Of course, we are a wrestling podcast, so I said to Matt, listen, we're going to squeeze in. I had a few emails about SummerSlam that just happened last night, in fact, and of course, I thought we'd give a little summary of that because I had some good, some bad, some in between feedback. Jimbo, I want to thank you as always for your emails. Only the other day, myself and Matt, we ventured down to Ring of Honor and we actually spoke about you there and then, wondering if you'd still email the show. And yes, I mentioned to Matt that you do, and we've exchanged many different emails and communications about the current state of affairs. And of course, since we've been away, Matt, the vibe, I've got to say, from our listeners, in terms of feedback that I've received, has somewhat been very negative, to say the least. But that's not a surprise to me because, I've been watching... I'm still keeping in touch with the current stuff, although we're not talking about it, I'm still watching it. And, I'm not exactly swept away by stuff that's going on. Nothing's really taken me, and I thought, wow, it's really good, and, stuff's picking up. I feel like we're at that time again where just things are a little bit... badly done. But Matt, you're just as a summary of last night, what did you take away from SummerSlam?
Oh, it's so difficult to judge. It's very, very hit and miss for me. It would go from one extremely good match to one very poor match. And I just felt like there was no consistency. But I would say on the whole it was good, and I did enjoy it, and especially reached a boiling point at the main event, which is like for the first time ever, not ever, but the first time in like quite a while, I felt that the main event actually was in the right spot and actually meant something. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it carried the show at the end of it. I felt it was the best thing to send everyone home with, without a doubt. I was impressed with the main event. It was a fatal four-way. It's not one of my most favourite stipulations, but I thought all the four, kicked it out of the park. They'd done a great job. I've got to say, I said to Matt off air that I think Braun Strowman potentially could be a huge babyface for the company, a natural babyface, and I don't mean that means he's got to keep coming out and telling the fans how great they are. I don't want to see that. Just keep him exactly how he is, and he's going to get more and more over. I just think him standing up with Brock was fantastic, and you think how Brock's been so over with the fans. For a guy like Braun to come along and get that reaction is incredible. I think it speaks volumes. And I don't know why they don't pounce on that. They seem that they want to go on with these guys that are not getting that response, but they're going to keep trying no matter what. They're going to try and squeeze the life out of you. And that, of course, that never changes. But yeah, I felt I was very impressed with him. A lot of people reacting, Matt, to as well the whole. I've got to say, Matt, we got a lot of emails about this a couple of weeks ago before this. And so this has been going on for some time, but everybody was saying that when we used to talk about NXT, Matt, when Bayley and Finn Balor were down there, a couple of people had listened to those podcasts recently. They'd gone back on them, and they said, how come everything we said has not happened? We said Finn would sell merch like nobody's business. We said Bayley would be the most over women's star. How on earth, Matt, have they got it so wrong? Bayley last night was almost booed like Roman Reigns hate. I mean, she's been getting terrible reactions lately. Finn Balor, maybe you can't help the injury thing that happened, but still, it's not exactly fantastic for this guy. He should be one of the top guys in general. I'm not saying he needs the belt, but he needs to be doing better things. What are they not able to do right here, Matt? Because Bayley, she's gone from this huge potential, huge, massive asset almost to the company in terms of selling merch and the fans and all the rest of it. One of the most lovable characters. Like, how could... I thought it was not possible to boo someone like Bayley, but it is clear that it is. What has happened there, Matt? Why has that happened? Is it the scripted lines that she's coming out with? Do you think it's just not from the heart? What is it about her that's not...